family, and welcome to another Outlet Conversation. Y'all, we have got some good stuff today. I'm going to warn the men, it's going to be TMI. We sorry up front, but we're going to tell it like it is, okay? So I got two beautiful women with me. I've got Diana King and Sharonica Burgess. They're both moms of two and making it happen. And so today we're just going to talk some real kids. Let's get into it. I'm
excited.
Okay,
I'm excited.
Let's get this thing rolling. So we're talking about the fourth trimester.
Which people don't talk about.
They don't talk about.
Like, did you hear of a fourth trimester before you got pregnant?
No.
I didn't until after I had.
After you experienced everything.
Right. Afterward, I was like,
tips come from, I don't know.
there is a fourth trimester.
There is.
And it's it's a serious trimester.
Oh, it's
Might be more intense than the first three.
It's one for the books.
It might.
One for the books. And so when we say fourth trimester, we're talking about postpartum and recovery, your body healing, and all that comes with that, right? So I'm going to kick it off with you all. What was one thing y'all wish y'all had known? Just somebody would have told you about before y'all got pregnant, did this whole journey. Like what was that thing?
I would say, because breastfeeding for me is huge and such a priority, that everything that you need to do to maintain your supply.
Ooh,
correct.
So like, I didn't even know you needed to maintain your supply, right? The media makes it seem like have a baby, now you can breastfeed, and you can breastfeed for as long as the baby, wants to breastfeed, or as long as you want to breastfeed. I didn't know like, you need to drink this much water. You need to make sure you're eating every couple hours. You have snacks in between. You're eating right before you go to bed.
You have a 3-hour
if
time
you
span.
can, try to do a little workout. But if you work out, you need to drink extra water. But by the way, make sure you get your rest. But your baby is crying, so how can you sleep when the baby is asleep? And so it's because it's really a balancing
It is.
game.
Definitely.
It is.
You have to have a good amount of each thing that they're telling you to have, which can be challenging because you have a newborn baby.
I find myself going, do I sleep or do I eat?
Life choices change.
But the third one, do I sleep, do I eat, or do I need to do something around the
See,
house?
See, this is the myth.
Right.
It's one of my myths.
Right.
Though. They're like, when the baby sleeps, you sleep. When the baby sleeps, you do whatever that your body needs
When
at
I
that time.
say, when I'm running around the house, the baby sleep, and I'm, my husband is like, slow down. I'm like,
You got 20
am.
minutes to figure it out.
we don't know when they're going to wake up.
That's right. Get it all done while you can.
So
And
you need to hear.
It's so true, but it's like one of the things you have to do when you have a baby is you have to do what you can do while they're asleep, right?
Yes.
So, but then I've started doing, okay, what can I do while he's awake? Let me not do that.
Exactly.
You know,
Like, you have to have a strategy.
Yeah.
You gotta have a strategy.
This is a whole project management plan. While we're playing people.
With an Excel spreadsheet. But you know what I learned with my second child is to rotate, and I think I shared this with you, Pastor Ashley. I think what helped me the most was, so if I know she's gonna take like an hour or a 2-hour nap, then I sleep. But if it's like a cat nap, let me see what I can get done. So I kind of rotate. So her first nap, I'll sleep. But the second nap, I'll do something around the house.
Because it
Third
wouldn't even
nap,
worth going to sleep
I'll
for that
sleep.
short period of time.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but if I'm like, ooh, she ate well, she hasn't slept, all day.
This could be a time to
This
sleep.
is gonna
be
be
it.
Yeah,
This
she
could
gonna
be
be
that golden
asleep for
sleep
like
time.
2 hours.
Okay.
I'm going to sleep.
Absolutely.
But she just took a nap an hour ago. She falling asleep.
She gonna be awake.
You have a smooth 20 minutes.
Oh, this like 30
That's
minutes.
it. That's
Right.
it.
So you could do the dishes.
Yes.
You could do,
Wanna throw
some
them in-
laundry, put
Yes.
some clothes in
That's
the
right.
washer.
Or sit down and get a glass of water or coconut water so your breast milk is still coming in.
Right.
Coconut water, that's a new one.
Yes.
Okay, I like
Yes.
that.
I have heard this go around. I've heard a lot of people say coconut water. I don't really like it like that.
I don't either.
But I
I'm
wonder
with
if it
you.
helps people drink enough water
Right.
because of the taste, if they like the taste.
You know what? If you don't like coconut water, Body Armor is made out of coconut water.
Body
but
Armor.
it tastes good,
It
though.
does
It
taste.
does.
It's
I
like
like
juice.
Body Armor.
It's like
Yeah,
juice.
without all the
Or
sugar, too.
Gatorade,
Yes.
because of the electrolytes.
Because I'm not a natural
Gatorade.
water drinker. I do like coconut water with pineapple, but sometimes it's
Ooh.
hard for me to drink straight
Maybe I
coconut.
may like it that
yeah.
way. with
Yeah,
pineapple.
maybe I can
Publix.
add, so you add in pineapple juice?
They actually have. You can either take coconut water and add it yourself, or they actually make it in a box.
Oh, you have to send
It's
me the
called
name
cocoa
of that
water,
one. 'Cause
yes.
I don't like
It's a
coconut
lifesaver.
water either like that.
It's
And
an
it could be
acquired taste.
Maybe it could be the
Oh,
brand I'm using.
True.
but-
Yeah.
But coconut water does have a
Yeah.
distinct taste to it.
It
It
does.
does.
It does.
And I like coconuts. That's why I was surprised.
But you know, that's another thing. Your taste buds are all off. Like you get pregnant and into the, after the baby's here, some things you used to like, you don't like no anymore. Some things you hated, you love. It's just like the baby really kind of just takes over your body.
So you know me, I can't say that's my testimony. So people, people always be like, so what you craving, right? With both of my kids. And I'll be like, I love food. So I can't really say, I'm craving this or I'm craving that, because 100% of the time before I was pregnant, I craved everything.
Listen. Just a continuation, that's all we saying.
That's right. I find myself loving orange juice, and I like orange juice, but I could not have it with Asher. Every morning I could drink it morning, noon, night. Every day I had to have me some orange juice.
Really?
I don't know,
but that's good, though,
that was
a thing for you.
It's a lot of sugar. It's a lot of sugar, but I was drinking it up, baby.
You take the pulp out.
I didn't even care. But that's the thing. Okay, you cannot be on no diet. You cannot be like I've heard these health conscious moms. We're gonna be vegan while the baby here, y'all. Whatever.
More power to them.
Listen. Amen.
It does take a lot of effort. You
does.
can do it, but it does take a lot of effort.
I didn't have
your strategy
I didn't
out.
have it.
Strategy.
Have
Like
your
you have to
strategy
think
out.
of all your meals the day before.
Pastor Ashley said, let me tell you something.
My body wanted what it wanted, and it was like I think Vince called me the Hulk if I didn't.
Look who's talking. He got the nerve.
See,
He
they
got
don't
the nerve
understand,
to
though.
talk.
When that craving hit, I craved spicy foods. With Jackson, I had bananas and pistachios together. Just weird.
Oh man.
I don't even eat pistachios on a normal day.
But you know what? But that was good. You were craving because that was healthy.
That's healthy.
It
That's
was. The
healthy.
spicy, not necessarily. Let me not go and put myself out there.
I remember you on ices too.
Yes.
You
Oh
love
my goodness. It might still be the way I just
Y'all,
got
it's
excited. Because it was so cool, and the ice chunks.
Oh, I know. Oh, I love ices. Oh, I'm with you on
Thank
that.
you for
but-
remembering. Yeah, that was good.
Absolutely. Y'all, it's just like whatever you want at the moment, you just have to have because that's what the baby needs or wants. I don't know. You don't have no control. You really have no control over anything at the moment. But I want to ask, because I think we all had different kind of birth stories, right?
Yes.
So, Diana, you have two, and Tronica, you have two. How were they all natural? Were they all C-section? Were they combination?
Yes.
Like, what was for you? The birth?
Yeah. So my first one, neither one. I had an epidural, and again,
Woo, Jesus.
Hold on, don't even go further because we need to go and get a round of applause for that.
by all
OG
means,
status.
Listen,
right there. I'm
by all
sorry.
means, if you need an epidural, like get an epidural, because regardless whether you have one or not, it's difficult, it's challenging. So definitely get one.
Yes.
Yes.
I have a high tolerance for pain.
Okay.
So
Because that's a whole nother level.
I was, me and my husband, we had planned.
I'm
to only
traumatized
have
all
two.
over again. I'm sorry.
I'm sitting here toes tingling.
Ooh,
My husband and I only wanted 2 kids, so me personally, I wanted like the full. I wanted to
Yes.
really see what it all felt like.
I don't ever want to see what
I'm
it
so
all
intrigued
feels like.
because I wanted to do that, right? So I'm intrigued now. I'm like, listen, tell me more.
So when did the intrigue leave you?
Right.
Yeah. Both my boys were born through the sunroof. They had to come up, drop the top, come on out.
Drop the
When I
top,
had labor
come
for
on out.
over a day, honey, and I was like, okay,
Wow.
I had stalled out, so I was at 5 centimeters for like 9 hours, just sitting there.
Woo,
Lord have mercy.
he was at 5 just
Sitting there. So backstory, when
Oh
I went
my
and asked my
goodness.
mom, I realized we have long labors. We do.
That's a genetic thing. It's a genetic.
I asked her, and we also go full term. So my first was at 42
That's
weeks.
a blessing.
41 weeks, 3
The
days.
full time. is a
Yes,
blessing,
it is.
yes.
And Drew became 40 weeks, 3 days. So we were in there, we going for it. And this is back to the question, what I thought wish I had known, back labor, folks. Back labor.
Back labor, serious.
Because
I've never
it is
had it, but I
serious.
heard it's real. I heard it's a real.
It is.
So, not to scare anyone, but that was my experience with
Yes.
Drewby. But he's here now, blessed and highly favored.
But you love him, don't you?
Yeah, but kudos to however, you give birth. It's a blessing just to be able to conceive and to have kids.
Absolutely.
But baby, I just want to give y'all the real, okay?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I ended up having an epidural, but I ended up, so Asher's 2 months now, right? So I'm 2 months postpartum.
Yes.
The epidural, I had to get it twice because he messed up, y'all. The anesthesiologist.
No.
No, he did.
Ooh.
Oh, he did.
Oh.
He messed up. But
This
I couldn't see the needle. Praise the Lord, because I probably wouldn't have got it. But
Yeah, it's one of those they don't even
That's
look.
what
They're-
kept me from getting that epidural. When they said they put it in your
Your-
back,
your
Yes.
spine.
and I've heard various stories.
You cannot
of what
move.
could
Oh yeah,
happen.
you can't move. And,
I
and
was
how
like,
you
oh,
not
I'm good.
moving? You in pain? How I'm not
I'll
supposed
just
to move?
suffer through
Right, you can't cough, clear your throat,
You
anything.
can't do nothing.
Really?
Yes,
So
stay
they
absolutely
Wow.
still.
They did it the first time. He put it in the wrong way. Had to do it again. I was so grateful for my husband, and this is for moms. If you're going into labor, you want someone in the room. Make sure you have an advocate
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
room for
yes.
you.
That's
I was
important.
I was in
That's
so
very
much pain.
important.
I
You
couldn't
can't
tell.
think.
I
Yeah.
can't
You know,
think,
up from
can't-
down, left from right,
Yep.
you're out of it.
Listen.
An advocate is so important, whether
It
it
is.
is your husband, your spouse,
A
a
doula.
doula.
Yeah.
Doulas.
But yes, somebody to advocate for you, especially as African American
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
women, or just being a minority.
Yes.
Having somebody advocate for you, because our experiences many times are different.
Oh,
and can
absolutely.
be different.
We have the
Absolutely.
highest
Yeah.
prevalence of death during birth, so
Yes.
for sure.
Because there's a level of bias there, and so I was grateful for my husband. I was grateful that he was there to say, "Oh, what y'all doing?
Right.
Are y'all putting in? Are y'all overdosing her?
Yeah,
She gonna get
ask
a
questions. Like,
Yes,
ask
seriously.
questions.
Don't
That's
let
in
those
anything.
nurses do anything they want to do. Like,
That's in
you are in
anything.
control of your body, so you can.
Right.
if
You
always
don't
ask
want it,
questions.
but but another thing I wish I had known though. I got the epidural. It was cool, whatever. I got it too late in my personal
okay.
experience. I wish somebody had told me. This epidural, you still gonna feel it. Like, I think I was under the impression.
Oh, you thought you weren't gonna do
just
nothing?
I thought I was just gonna be breathing.
The level of expectation was all hold on now. I still feel some sensation down there. I need you to come in
Oh, I'm
and
gonna
do
be
something.
fine. Epidural, I got this. Y'all.
Yeah.
Oh,
You still felt it.
Oh, absolutely.
You
man.
can still feel it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm traumatized. It was a lot. I think I did 40 hours of labor.
Yes, it's no joke.
It's a lot, y'all.
And I would say too, along with asking questions, it's good to have a birth plan.
Yes.
Now, granted, you have to be flexible because
Because it may not
Same.
it
work
may not
out.
go the way
I'm
that
an example
your
of that,
plan,
not having
the
gone
way
as
that your
planned.
plan is
The
set out to
sunroof
go.
probably wasn't
Yes.
your plan.
No, sunroof
Right.
wasn't
But
even on the
having,
vehicle.
having a birth
Yeah.
plan lets the doctor and nurses know what you would like to happen, what your desires are.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
even though it may not go exactly the way or it may not go at all the way you think
Right.
it's planned, it's good to at least let them know, hey, this is my vision for
Exactly.
it, and I would like your help and partnership to help me get there.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
you are your own best advocate and spokesperson. It's
Oh,
just-
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
So we're
Very true.
in this whole process. You got contractions. The baby comes. People tell you, "Oh, the baby comes," and then they stop. The work is just starting. I think the easiest part of this whole thing was my pregnancy.
Yes.
After that, oh baby, that's when it really
True to
kicked
form.
in.
Oh, baby.
It's when it kicked in. And so everything from breastfeeding, nobody told me you still have contractions when you breastfeed.
Oh, my
actually, they
goodness.
intensify so they
Yes.
can retract your
So
uterus.
I didn't have that with my son, but with my daughter, I was like, whoa,
What
whoa,
is
whoa,
that?
wait, why am I still having contractions? And I didn't know
Yes.
that that's natural because I didn't
Yes.
have it with my son.
That's
But yeah,
crazy.
you
And
still
that
have
junk
contractions.
hurts. So you're feeding them, you hurting.
And you have them for what? At least a month.
Oh yeah.
I would say at
Until
least the
after-
first month when you're
Yeah.
breastfeeding. So right, you're trying to feed them,
Feed
And you
them.
but then
too.
you're hurting.
Oh, absolutely.
But oh, you got to give them this milk.
and your nipples may
life.
be sensitive as well.
Yes.
So
Can I chime in on this? Because to your point, Diana, and your point, Pastor Ashley, we see these pictures, this imagery of like, yes, breastfeeding. It's the
Beautiful.
most
It's
beautiful
beautiful.
thing. And it is.
tell y'all.
But they do not. I'm
It
going to use
is
this term.
beautiful. It
Your
is.
nipples have to rubberize. I'm going to take it there.
rubberized.
Rubberized
It's
is what I
so
call
true.
them.
It's like it's like they're in a training stage.
Yes.
They
Yes.
have to, you have to toughen them up.
Exactly.
Yes, you do.
Basically.
Yeah, you do.
So I don't know the medical terminology
I
for
didn't know that either. I didn't know that
Rubberized
either.
sounds good to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
So there's a season you go through before you get to the part where you're just like popping the baby on the nip and it's like
Exactly.
small little nipples.
Exactly.
But and it also helps your supply. So
Yes,
you have
it
to.
does.
Have
So even
Yes.
though it hurts
you got to keep
tremendously,
doing
you still have to keep doing it because
Well,
if
the
you
baby
don't,
gotta
it
eat.
will hurt your supply and the baby has to
Baby
eat.
gotta eat.
When I had Jackson, right, the first time they were like, oh, it doesn't hurt at all. So my level of expectation was all off kilter. I was like, now you could have just told me there was some discomfort or something.
Yeah.
Something to tee me up.
it. Oh, absolutely.
I was all in the lane of breastfeeding. And I was like, hold on, I don't think this natural. I was like, hold on now. When we go to the other side where I'm like the people in the picture.
It takes a minute.
At least
and
6
then
weeks.
you're leaking. So there's so much that comes with breastfeeding. So not only are your nipples rubberizing, you're feeding you have to try to feed your baby, try to feed yourself to keep your milk supply going, right? You out in public, you leaking, you got patches on your it just looks so bad. You got patches right here, 2 big circles glaring at you. On the road, you can't just leave because the mom thing never stops.
It does.
No,
Even
it
when you
doesn't.
leave your baby with somebody.
You're pumping.
Yes.
Nonstop.
Every 3
And you need to
hours.
stay. So I didn't know that either until really the second time around how important the schedule is.
Yes.
So that's why I have my
Yes.
pump stuff in the car. Because I'm like,
Yes.
oh, once I hit that 3 hours
You
or
gotta pump.
4 hours, you
Yes.
gotta pump.
If
So
not,
for those of you
or
who
that
don't
can hurt your
know,
supply.
it does. The body figures,
So
oh,
your
you don't
milk
need it.
supply is regulated by how much the baby latches
Supply
to
and
you.
demand.
That's it. So
Yep.
the more you pump, the more milk you'll make.
Right.
If you don't pump, your body says, oh, you don't need that milk. When in essence, you really do because baby's going to feed that
Yes.
time. So
Right.
you need
Exactly.
that milk. So
Exactly.
you have to keep on this time schedule, even in the middle of the night. So I'm up at 1 a.m. and 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
pumping every
Yep.
single night.
Same here.
Even if the baby's sleeping through the
Even
night.
if baby sleep, you
Yeah,
still
you still
pumping.
gotta pump.
And then I heard from moms, even after like you transition out of pumping, you still gotta because
Oh, yes.
you'll be engorged.
Yeah, you
Your
still have to
breast will
release.
feel hard and heavy if you don't release that
Release
milk,
the milk.
out. Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
even after your baby stop pumping, you still gotta pump a minute
Yep.
to get the milk out.
And
so
wind
it's
it down.
Motherhood is a whole. Nobody tells you the length of time you're really going through all of this stuff, right?
right.
Like they
That's
they
true.
stop it at the baby's here. Oh my
No.
gosh.
You just
Your
arrived in the
journey
race.
has just started.
It has
Right.
literally
The race has just
just
begun.
started.
just,
Yeah.
I remember being in the hospital. They give you a little kit. They give you tux pads, you know, the dermoplast, all the stuff.
Oh, right.
The spray, because
To
you are
clean
messed
yourself.
up down there.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you?
She said messed up,
You are
too.
messed up.
I am done.
So Vince, my poor husband, he looked at the whole process, baby coming out and things. He said, "Oh yeah, Ashley, it ain't the same. It is. Things change. Even when they stitch you up, things change. Okay. And you're having to relearn how to go to the bathroom. I remember
Yes.
when I went to the bathroom, y'all in the hospital, you have to do a number 2. Y'all, I did not want to do this number 2.
Oh, right.
I was so
Before
scared.
you can be,
it will hurt.
Yes.
I was so
And it
scared.
can hurt. Yeah.
I was
You're
scared I
so
was gonna
right.
pop my stitches or something.
And I didn't know
was
that
just
either. I didn't know before I got pregnant about how you do have to toughen up your breast for breastfeeding. I didn't know
Yes.
that. But the whole, it's like, oh, did you do a number 2 today? Okay, well,
Yep.
try to do it. Like when
Right,
the nurses
yes.
come in, try to do a number 2. And I'm like, oh, you just don't think that you would think everything just works fine afterwards,
Right,
but
it just
after you
goes
get
back normal.
stitched up,
And everything is
it
so
is very difficult
sore.
to do that.
Everything's so sore down
It
there.
is.
So
Yes,
you're really
it
scared
is.
of everything. I was scared of peeing. I was scared of poop. I was just scared. Like, what
Yeah.
is going to happen? I don't know. But stool softeners are your friend, my
Yes.
ladies. Just take a bunch of them. If
Be bound up and go.
I don't want to say diarrhea, but the softer the better. It's just the truth. And just doing this, like having this kit rolling with me everywhere I went. So if I went to the bathroom, I had one kit downstairs, so get upstairs. I didn't care. Every bathroom had a kit because
Every bathroom
listen,
A
guests
kit for
came
you,
over.
a kit for you.
Right.
Guests
That's part
came
of the
over.
preparation.
Whatever. I just didn't even care. But
Just move my tux pads to the side.
to moving to the side. And this is why it matters who you even have coming over to visit you.
Oh, for
It
sure.
does.
Especially, pandemic.
And
babies.
that's why a lot of people don't, you don't see them for months.
Yes,
Because
there's so much
of,
going on.
It's a lot going on. You're trying to get your house together. You're trying to get your mind right,
It's
so you don't go
transition.
into. A lot of women unfortunately go into a depression
Yes.
Oh,
afterwards.
that's a real thing. That's a
that
real
wasn't
thing.
my story, but I can understand
Yes.
Oh,
how women can go
So,
into
yes.
that because
Easily.
Yeah,
before
easily.
I think someone explained it to me. They explained it well. They were like, "Well, Diana," because I was like, "Well, before I had my first child, I was like, well, how do people kind of go into depression?" And they said, well, before the baby comes, it's all about you, right? How are you doing? Put your feet up. Do you want
yes.
something to eat? And then when the baby comes,
It is
it's
never
all about the
you.
baby.
It is never about you anymore.
Right.
Pushed off the cliff.
Right, it's all about the baby. And I was like, oh, I never thought about it
Wow.
like that. So once I had my first child, I was like, oh, I praise God. I did not have postpartum depression, but
Yeah.
I can definitely understand women who go
Yeah.
through that, and it's a high percentage.
It's a very high
Yes.
And so
percentage.
now I've noticed, like, with my second child, when I went, well, even with my first child, when I would go to the OB, they always ask, like,
have to
about your
ask,
mental
yep.
state.
Yes.
And my
I love that,
pediatrician, I love that too.
Yeah.
They also ask about your mental state, you
And
know,
that's new,
in
especially the
different
pediatrician's
questions.
office. They didn't usually ask that before. It was
Right.
on your OBGYN.
Oh,
Wow.
So I'm glad they don't
Another
catch it one way,
Yeah,
they're going to
my
catch it another way.
My pediatrician, yeah, they both do. And I was like, that's so
Yes.
great, because
It
if you
is.
are going through something, you have
Get
an
the help.
opportunity
Listen,
to
get
get
the
it.
help, ladies. If you're
Indeed.
in this space or you know someone in this space, get the help.
Yeah.
Check on your friends that have babies. And I'm not
Absolutely.
saying just like go over and hold the baby. Don't just hold the
I
please
know.
don't just go over
Be
nobody's
of a
house
help.
to hold the baby. I'm on behalf of every woman out here. You go up that house and you clean up that house. You send a meal over.
Yes.
You do something for
Change
that
the
mama.
baby.
Yes. Be
Listen,
of good help.
Be
you
of
know?
a help, and
Yeah.
don't just sit there and hold the baby. She doesn't need that from you. Like,
Right.
she needs you to help out. Like, do something.
Seriously, those first few weeks are
It's
just
so
imperative.
serious, and you do need support. You need support.
I
And
can say sometimes holding the baby, because then it does allow me
if you're gonna
to
get a
do
rest,
things.
Get a few
Yeah,
things.
If I
Yeah.
can,
That's
right.
true.
If you, I've had people come over, they held the baby, and then I was able to all over the
Okay.
house for that
See,
hour
but
or whatever.
See, I'd rather them do that. I'd rather me hold the baby and then you
Oh.
She
do.
said,
You
wait,
do
hold
that.
my baby.
You know,
Yeah,
I'm getting
like-
away only because I am very particular. Now, I'll take
Okay.
any help I can
Listen,
get.
I'm
I
like-
will take any help I can get.
She said, hold on, let me go through that disclaimer then.
Right. Let me tell you this time. I will take any help I can get.
Listen, especially.
But I am, you know, I do have things organized a certain
Right.
way. So sometimes it's just easier
Yeah.
to be like, oh, if you can hold the baby, then I can go ahead and organize.
Or maybe
what
just
I need
ask
to do.
mom. Ask mom what she needs. How about that?
Yes,
I think that'd be
ask.
helpful.
That would be
Don't-
helpful.
How could that
don't
best
just-
help you?
Hey, is there
Yeah.
anything you need? Whether
Exactly.
it's holding the baby, changing the baby,
Right.
doing the dishes,
Don't just do
Right.
something and think you helping.
sending food.
Right.
Yeah,
And then
that's
give me the
true.
baby back.
Listen,
I've done my one good deed today. Thank you.
Give you the baby. Here you go.
That's true.
We're sitting
What?
here like, listen, I would love to have run to get a little pedicure or something.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I know.
No, but so speaking of the pedicure thing, I actually did that to prevent against postpartum depression because I understood
Yes.
it was a real thing. So my husband he kicked me out the house. He was like, "You go do something
so
for
good.
yourself."
You have to.
Yes.
You have to.
It feels so weird.
You do.
There's a sense of mom guilt even when you do it
I
because
had,
it's like
yes.
you need to be at home with the baby. You're not home with the baby. You know you need to do this for yourself, but y'all, there's just so many emotions, you know. And I was grateful that he had me do that, but at the same time, I had to process a lot of it my own self
Right.
in order to get out of my own head and say, okay, Ashley, go.
It's such a transitional space. Like, what do I even like at this point? What do I need? It's a process to even sit here and think in full sentences. Like, okay, what do I need in this moment?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it sleep?
Besides
Is it a nice
sleep, yeah,
pedicure?
besides-
You know,
sleep
because
could
the first
always
always
be.
thing that come to mind, right? And then it's like I was a person before the baby, and I'm still a person after.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it
Oh,
gets lost so
you
quick.
ha-
It does.
can.
It does.
It can. And it's so, I tell anybody, it is so important that if you can, at least take 30 minutes a day
Yes.
to yourself.
Yes.
Try to get in an hour.
Yeah, that's good.
But definitely minimum once a week.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get out, go somewhere, go to the park, work
Watch
out.
a movie, walk.
Yes.
Whatever you need to
Yes.
do, you have to take that time for yourself, and don't feel bad doing
No.
it, because the better you are, the better they are.
You
Yes.
water
So
your well.
you have to be
Yes.
110% so that they can be 110%.
I mean, just taing a shower feels nice.
Oh
doesn't
my
it?
goodness.
To let the water
Oh
run
my
just a little
goodness.
bit.
But then you're not. But then you're not hearing. Well, mommy.
And see, kids, privacy and private time is gone when you have the kids. They'll run right in the
Oh, that
bathroom.
just- all of it. I have become.
You better lock that door. You better lock that door. So
I've
they
Don't throw that wedge on that door.
I become a pro at holding Asher and peeing. Now
Listen,
that is
yes.
not what I recommend. But y'all, sometimes you just don't want to be put down. So what
Yeah.
do? You pee
Yeah.
with the baby.
Oh,
I don't
yes.
know.
You know, that's just one of the times where they fuss.
That is it. Oh no, this is my time.
Go get that car seat, lay that baby in that car seat real
I
quick.
got you in eye view. Get the car
Yes.
seat. I got you in eye
get that
view.
bassinet.
You're in the bathroom with me. You'll
So
sit
they're
right
there.
there. Yep,
They're
they're right
seeing
there.
Right.
You sit. If you
Give me
you're
30
fine.
seconds.
You're
Get
fine.
myself together.
I fed you. I changed
I
you.
love it.
You are perfectly fine. I can see you. I can touch you. I gotta use
That's
that.
true. Right.
If
If you fuss for a
Allow
little
me.
bit,
Let me do this
You
myself.
fuss, fuss for a little bit, but it does help with self-soothing as they
Yes.
get older.
It
Now,
does.
of course, when they're
Yeah.
brand
Newborns,
new,
right.
yeah, when they're
Yeah.
brand new, this,
I'm glad you brought that up too.
No
Yeah.
self-soothing, but as they get older, it does
Right.
help with self-soothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and-
agree.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I've heard people say, you spoil the baby too much, you pick them up too much.
Ah.
When they're newborns,
When they're newborns, I
They
don't
don't
think
know
you
any
can.
different, though.
they're bonding with you.
They've been in
They're-
your room for 9 months.
And it's very
That's
close
all
in there
they
if you think
know.
about it. Even the
Yeah.
physicality of it. It's very close. It's warm. They can hear
Yes.
your heartbeat. So
Exactly.
imagine it's been snatched out to the world.
Right. Yeah. So
That's
when
what-
they're
that's what it feel like.
I don't
You
think
interview
you
these
can
babies.
spoil them. I don't think you can spoil them. But as they get older,
Older.
I think you can.
As the
just
cognitive
depending
piece
on
comes
your
in.
strategies.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Sharonica, you had something very specific happen
Yes.
to you. Now, can you explain what happened,
Okay.
how you knew, and what's the recovery on that?
So with my second born that came through the sunroof course, I had a condition called diastasis recti, which means my abs actually split. And so usually,
Wow.
So the baby grows, and your
right.
body's making room.
he was a heavier baby, and he also dropped early on. So he was in the pelvis, and then your abs actually supposed to come back in. Mine stayed separated.
Wow.
So the way that you could find out, the way I found out was late in my third trimester, is when you do a sit up, you lift your head up and you see doming. There's a doming because the abs are separated and there your insides are kind of like in that little space.
Wow.
So when talking about healing, it was a completely different process. So to what you were saying, Diana, and when you were discussing about depression, it took me a while to say, this is not my body. I was used to being athletic. I was used to having good muscle memory.
Right.
But those things have nothing to do with this. This is just a stretching of the fascia tissue. And so they're like, oh, you need surgery. I'm like, oh, I don't want to get surgery. So what I've done is I've gone to a physical therapist. They're actually physical therapists for pelvic floor recovery. Shout out to Shantae Williams. She got me together. But I would say a little over 6 weeks of therapy doing deep belly breathing, I was able to get it from 3 finger lengths wide, that gap, to 1.5
Nice.
without surgery. I'm
Wow,
a
that
really
is
big
amazing.
proponent. I do not want to go on a knife if I don't
Yeah.
have to.
If you don't have to,
I'm
yeah.
But I
100%
had
agreement.
never heard of this, ladies. I had never heard of
This
it.
is my first time hearing about it.
Yes.
So
I
how
heard,
did you know you had it?
I had one friend that had it, but not to the extent of
Yes.
surgery. But
Yeah,
she did
yeah.
have it.
How did you know you had it?
They knew when they could feel it. So when they're looking for the baby in there, you can see the actual separation in
Oh,
there.
so they knew it when
He was
he
in
was
your-
still
he was
inside.
in
yes,
your
my
room.
nurse practitioner found
Ooh.
it.
While
And
he
so
was still inside.
Yes.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
So at that point, it's not much you can do.
Oh,
And
right. Yeah.
honestly, at that point, I still didn't even know what the process was for healing afterwards. It was kind of like, okay, let me just get the baby here.
Oh, right. Absolutely.
Right,
That's
that's all I was
right. That's
focusing
priority
on.
number
Get the
one.
baby
Exactly.
here.
I'll
Get the
figure everything
baby
else
here.
out later.
Nice
so
and
then,
safely.
That's right.
when I started, and this is to say, not each pregnancy and labor is the same, and as the babies aren't the same, they have different personalities.
different.
I started to notice, 4 weeks went by, another 4 weeks went by, we had 8 weeks. I'm like, man, my body isn't naturally pulling in like it should. And so I was getting, give yourself grace, and I was.
Right.
But it was like
Good-
something is
good
off.
information. Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
That is.
So to me, I went in back to my nurse practitioner. She was like, "Yeah, it's gonna take
It's-
some time to get
a
that work
recovery
done."
time.
Yeah. So I'm a big advocate of searching on your own or get the help you need. I went and found
Absolutely.
my PT,
Right.
and I
right.
said, "Hey, Shantae, you taking patients?" And she actually walked me through. And she's like, "There's deep belly breathing. Don't feel bad, mom. This is natural.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't." And
You
so-
can't control that.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
can't.
you
Let me
can't
tell you, you
control
can't
a lot.
control nothing.
You can't control a lot.
You are just at the mercy of this little baby inside
Yes,
you.
yes.
They do everything they want with your body. They make your nose spread, your legs wide. You don't have your butt bigger. You don't have no control.
You
Let me
just live-
Tell you this
yeah.
right up front. And so in talking about recovering your body and all this, PT and
man.
everything healing down
Listen.
there. And then in the dynamic of marriage, because you ladies are both married, what is the intimacy like? What is the dynamic in your relationship like again after baby?
I'm glad you asked this question because in this transitional space, you have to get your new rhythm. That's new rhythm. Intimacy wise, intimacy is not just sex. Intimacy
True,
is connection.
Very true.
And there are certain ways that my husband and I connect through movies, our favorite sitcoms, joking. But then there's not a disruption, I don't want to use that word, but there's a difference to the schedule, the feel of the home that really needs to be recognized.
different.
And folks don't want to talk about that. So you have to be concerted, at least in my example, be concerted about how he receives love, how I need love, how we want to connect. Listen, sometimes these kids don't let you really get to who you're trying to get to fun time. Okay?
What are they called? I'm gonna say, I don't know if I can say this, but they are cock blockers, y'all. I'm just gonna tell you.
She said, "Let me go ahead, right?"
Your baby gonna be right in the middle of y'all. Ain't nothing going
Right.
down, okay? But yeah.
So, and then for myself, being a business owner, entrepreneur, go ahead, throw that in the mix.
That's right. Listen,
Betty
work.
Crocker, that thing.
Well, yes.
So I would say just be present as much as you can each season and be intentional.
Yeah.
So for myself, I was like, look, I know I'm not going to take my whole hand off the business, but I only check in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Do not touch that email.
You can only do what
outside.
you can do. And
Right,
that's so
exactly.
real because we have a lot of working moms, and Diana, I know you're a working mom as well. So, yeah, the marriage, all that. How are you how are you faring with that with baby?
Yeah, every day it's like, all right, I'm gonna get it done.
Yes.
You just kind of have to set in your mind what your goal is for that day. If it doesn't get done, it doesn't
get done.
And
Yes.
you gave it your all. Some days it all
Yes.
gets done. I'm like, yes, we rocked it
Rock
today. But other days I'm like,
Nothing.
I'm tired.
Nothing gets
I'm
done.
going to sleep
Yes.
on time.
Yeah.
And you live to see another day.
That's
and
it.
that's
That's
you
it.
can
That's
do it
it.
again the next
That's
day and
true.
get back up. And you just have to really remind yourself that it's a blessing to be able to
Oh,
do what you
yes.
do
Oh, man.
every day, and that's in the workplace and also at home.
Oh,
'Cause
absolutely.
it can be a lot, and if you don't tell yourself, girl, you are killing it,
Yes.
it will kill you.
It sure will. You will get so
So-
deflated and defeated. But I will say, like, even in our relationships, like, communication was always me and Vincent Strong. We were like at 9 to 5.
Yes.
I
Yes.
could
I thought that
grade
right there.
myself, maybe.
And communication is
Everything.
Let me tell you, my communication went from like
Everything.
a 9 to a 2. I said, what?
You just existed.
What happened? Like, you were working off sleep deprivation,
Yes.
right? Like, you're not getting a lot of sleep, me nor Vince, right?
Right.
And then baby screaming. You're trying to get things done every day. Sex, what is sex? I don't even know. Out the window. It's like,
And look, they're ready. Like, so whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
that's the first question he asked my doctor. Not
just
even,
maybe gave him a side
not even like, how is she doing down there? Nope. It was like, so when can we get back to it, doc? Is she cleared? Like, I was like, what? You
But
don't
it
even care.
is, to your point, it is so important to take that time, whether it's that or movies,
Yes.
going, going out to eat or
Yes.
just having a dinner at home without the kids. You do have to make time for yourself
You do.
and for your
You do.
partner, and whatever it takes to make that happen,
Yes.
Do
you
it.
have to do
Yes.
it
Yes.
because. Like, it may take a lot of work to get there, right? You got to get the kids ready to
Yes.
go over, let's say, your parents' house so they can watch them. So make sure you have enough bottles, enough diapers, enough wipes,
Yep,
change
yep.
your clothes,
Yes.
anything you think of, the pack and play, everything. Everything that it takes to do that is worth it to get that hour, 2 hours, 3 hours that you
Yes.
have to yourself and with
Yeah.
your spouse.
And that's
Right.
just the physical time. The emotional, like,
That's
too.
a whole
So
nother
when,
piece.
when you do the physical things, okay, don't feel guilty for giving yourself a break from baby. Do not feel
Oh,
guilty.
Say that
You
again. Yeah.
need-
Don't,
Sure. I'm a
don't
big
feel
proponent.
guilty.
You need your space. You
Yes.
need your you time. You are
Yes.
not just a
You need to
feeding. You
refill,
are not just a
restore.
feeding cycle for your baby.
And what I think a lot of times people forget is your child, like, now we're the caretaker,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But as they get older, you become the facilitator. And as they
Yes.
get even older, you
Yes.
become the advisor.
Exactly. I
And
like that.
possibly like the counselor.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to go on and they're going to live their
their
life.
lives and
right?
leave
Yes.
you.
And
Exactly.
then, so if you didn't take care of yourself, if you didn't take
Yes.
care of your,
Yeah, your
marriage or
marriage.
the relationship that you
Right.
have with your spouse or your partner,
so important.
when they leave, it's
You
gonna
have
be
nothing.
night
You
and
have
day.
nothing.
It's gonna be
Exactly.
night and day
Yeah.
in your household because you didn't nourish
that time
You
to
didn't take
cultivate.
that time
Yes. Yes.
to really
That's good right
nourish
there.
and grow that relationship
Oh,
and to
absolutely.
grow that relationship in you and
Right.
also in God.
Oh,
Exactly.
absolutely.
So it is.
Absolutely.
I don't think people just realize. Like, I know a lot of people feel guilty about it, but they gonna live their life. They gonna grow
Please
up.
believe.
They're gonna go to, just like we did.
Hey,
They're gonna go to
thank you.
college.
I'm
They're
ready
gonna
to
get
go to
married. They're gonna have their
Adolescent.
kids.
Leave you in the
And
dust.
And then,
Who are you?
And then
They're
you
like,
sit
"See,
out
Mom?"
here, and a lot of people have to like find themselves again. And maybe
Yes.
Empty nesters.
they don't
Yes.
even know where to start because they lost
themselves in their children.
in
Oh,
the
yeah.
journey.
Yes.
And
Oh, yeah.
so don't lose yourself. Don't lose your light. Don't lose your shine.
Amen.
It is so
Amen.
important. So whatever you have to do to make sure you keep your light, you do
do
it.
it.
Yes.
No, agreed.
But that starts early, right? That
Oh,
doesn't
it
just start when
starts
they get
now.
early.
with the
They start-
mental part of it, like,
The
hey,
mental
I
part.
need to have 30 minutes or an hour to myself.
Because
Just
how you start will be how you finish. So it really starts even before, like while you're pregnant. Make
Doing
sure you take
self-care.
time for
Yes.
yourself.
True.
Make sure you have that time with your spouse, with your partner. Then when the baby comes at week 2, well, what did you do for yourself? What did you do with your partner?
Exactly.
You know, now I know a lot of, it may not always be possible, but the goal is to get there.
Right.
Yes, yes.
And I'm glad you said
And-
the goal. Like you're
Yes,
reaching
yes.
for that marker.
Exactly.
So the self-care, I know it looks different, right? Because pregnancy, you can do self-care in pregnancy, right? Go get a
Right.
massage. Oh, I'll get a prenatal, right? So you feel great. But when baby's here, like, what does self-care look like? Because you are on a kind of a scheduled time. Baby got to eat, So I'm talking about newborn in particular. What does self-care look like in that phase for y'all? Like, what does self-care
good.
look like?
I know for me in that early phase, it was being able to I already take long showers, but it was being
Yes.
able to take an
shower.
even longer shower.
Yes, hot
like
water going, Steve.
they're fed, they're resting. So as soon as they go off to sleep, or as soon as my husband has her, I'm jumping in the shower.
Yes.
I'm getting
Yeah.
myself ready for bed because I know at any moment she can wake up and she'll be ready to feed again.
Exactly.
And so it's just you have to step away and take that time. Working out for me too was another way of
Oh, that's good.
self-care.
That's
you
not
know.
my self-care, but that is
Listen.
so
I-
good.
It gets that hormone going, the endorphins start
Yeah,
rolling.
It
know,
does,
yeah.
and you feel so good.
I feel like I'm working more. Like I'm
I'm over
tired.
here. I'm already tired.
I'm already tired. Don't make me more tired.
You feel so good afterwards, not during it.
Right.
but
I
know.
Just like
I know.
delivery. Oh my goodness, I'm sure you all felt
listen.
so like it's the best
I
feeling.
felt
To
such
hold the
relief.
baby.
I didn't
You
even
feel
care.
so relieved that the baby
The
is
baby could have looked
here.
like a
To
dinosaur,
see them.
y'all. I was so happy to
Right.
get him out. Like, oh my god.
Another
Oh
dinosaur
my goodness,
pass.
with my son, so we didn't know the gender with him at all. With my daughter, we found out like at 7 months or 6 months.
Uh-huh.
But with my son, we waited until the end.
Nice.
I was so relieved. My husband was like, so, what is it? And I was like,
Oh, yeah,
what is it? Like, who cares? As long as they are out.
He is
It is
here.
out.
It is
out
here.
and healthy.
Yes.
Like, there's no complications.
Exactly.
They're here. They're healthy.
She said,
Oh,
"Miss me
okay.
with the gender."
What is it? What gender is it now? Like, I had completely forgot because I was just so relieved.
So relieved.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh
It
my
is a
goodness.
journey. It truly is a journey. in
It
that
is
labor
a
delivery.
journey. It really is. One that is, it's a great journey.
It's beautiful.
But it is
It's
challenging.
exhausting.
Yes.
You are tired, but it is
It's almost like a
they're
marathon.
beautiful. But
Like,
yeah,
it
it
is like
is.
a
It's like
marathon.
training
Yeah.
for it's so intense. I don't even know how to describe it. You're exerting so much physical, energy. It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
But so when it's over, you're like, praise the Lord.
One of my friends told me that motherhood, and it was so true, is the most challenging but rewarding thing
Absolutely.
you could ever
Absolutely.
do.
Stamp on
and
that.
was the perfect
Yes.
words or verbiage to describe
Right.
motherhood.
Yeah, oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about a lot. We've talked about our body recovering. We've talked about kind of the mom guilt, but then there's a thing of mom shame, right? And this comes when sometimes we have to go back to work. Like if you work a regular job, you got to be there from 9 to 5. Your baby, I guess the leave is different, right? So depending on how you work that,
Yeah.
your leave, your maternity leave, and then going back to work. I know both of you ladies do work. How has that been? Was there any mom guilt associated with it, and just navigating the whole process of getting back into the swing of things with baby?
I didn't have any mom guilt this time around. I think it was more of an understanding of what needs to be done, right? I tried to get rid of the superlatives or the perfectionist idea
Oh my gosh. Yes.
because it could destroy, the progress or the being present in the moment. We have our babies, we are individuals before we had them, and really we want to get back to our purpose so we can sow into them again. So this time around, it was about the strategy. Okay, how many days I'm going to roll back in?
Yes.
What is my capacity right now? And being honest with it. How are Jan and I going to navigate, you know what I mean, with ours? Because both of our parents are not local. So that's a whole nother
Same
That's
here.
the
facet.
whole thing. Yep.
Oh, all three of us.
Yes.
Yeah,
all of
three
So
of us.
just so you guys know, that village, you really have to strategize. So
Yes, you
right
do.
now,
Yes.
to be honest, I'm in that season. I'm still perfecting my rhythm now. I'm still present back in business. But I'm honest with my clients. Hey guys, I just had a baby.
People
You know what I mean?
understand. Well, some people.
Some.
It don't matter if they do or if they don't. Honestly, like we have stated, you got to do what's best for you and your
Absolutely.
state
Yes.
of mind. If you got to take off, you just got to take off. Like
It's
if you're too tired to function, because you think about it, even going back to work, that nighttime pattern, depending
Oh,
on how
yeah.
old they are.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
some babies aren't sleeping. I talked to a mother recently. Her baby was 9 months. Her baby is only sleeping 2 hours. Every 2
Whoa.
hours.
9 months?
At 9 months.
That's an extended period
They're
of time.
They're still feeding every 2
so
hours.
imagine y'all, you're going through that. You're going to be so tired to
Yes.
work and function. So
Transparency.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I'm hopping on Zoom meeting. I'm like, turn the camera off. And this is true. Now whatever your situation
we going
is.
to tell her how it is.
But for me, like being that I have virtual meetings and I have to be present, sometimes I'm like, hey, if I have a lead that's working it, lead, go ahead and take the ropes. But I'll show my face in the beginning. I'll put the camera on off and put the mute on. I have to feed them every 3 hours, or I'm pumping. So I don't necessarily want to be in a meeting
Yeah,
with
yeah.
my equipment on, but I still make it a priority by saying, hey, let me make space for myself and make space for me to be a mom.
Oh, yeah.
and that's perfectly fine to do
it
that.
sure is.
Exactly.
It is
I
perfectly
can't
fine to
talk
I
do
about
be
that anymore.
driving down the street pumping. It don't even matter.
Pumping in the car.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The sad thing is, I don't even have one of them nice pumps. I got the phalange sticking out. Baby, if you look at my car, you just seeing it all, and I just really don't
But
care at this
listen.
point because I got to do what I got to do, and I have
Right.
to release what's going on in my breast, or else it's
And
gonna
you have
be.
to feel comfortable.
You do.
Because that also hurts. Back to
And
milk
it
supply.
hurts.
Yes.
That can
If
hurt
you
your
don't
milk
release,
supply.
It feels like a brick
Yes.
on
You
your
have
chest.
to feel
Beating
comfortable
on a table is how your
Yes.
chest feels.
You have
Yes.
to feel comfortable pumping and nursing, otherwise you won't produce as much milk as you could.
Oh,
I wasn't the first time around. I wasn't. I was like, oh, let me try to cover. You know what I'm saying? I got
You
about
going
two
to the
little covers.
bathroom and
The
doing
baby
stuff?
sweating on his nose. And then
now
was like,
forget it. Yeah.
It's natural.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
yeah.
I mean, if
I
you
love
see
it, though. Let's
something,
do it.
oops, my bad.
Okay, we're
Right?
mature. Come on.
But-
now.
I'm sure I'd
I'm
have
about
nipple
to go
flashed
on
a
with
couple
my
of
day.
people. I don't even know. I'm sure I'd have nipple flashed. But I don't know. I'm sorry
Folk
if you
need to
saw
be
it.
doing
I'm
it.
sorry. But it's like you do what you got to do. And as moms, I think that's the kind of the whole concept. You do what you have to do,
Mm-hmm.
and your baby is your priority at the time.
Right.
And nothing's perfect, but it's all beautiful.
Yeah.
right?
It is.
It does.
It is. And
does work out.
it's such a blessing. I just think anytime it gets tough, just think about how blessed
Yes.
we are
Yes,
to have
that their
our
baby is
children,
healthy.
To
the
have
baby is
children.
healthy.
You know?
To be able to
we're
nurse.
able to nurse.
That's-
Just if you just simply think about how and just be grateful for all that God has blessed us with, it makes those challenging times much
Yes.
Yeah.
easier.
That is
like,
true.
no, I signed up for this.
Exactly.
You know, we signed up. Me and my husband signed up for this for a reason.
You know, I just told Vince. Asher was crying one time. I said, did we pray for this? We prayed for this, didn't we?
Just want to make sure this is
Right. Some things you got to stop
No,
and say, well,
that's
wait a
true.
minute. But it does make you grateful for what you
Definitely.
have,
Definitely.
and for God's blessing you, because they
It
are a
does.
blessing. They are such a blessing,
They
and
really
they're so
are.
good.
They
Little
really
faces are so you can't be mad too
When
too
I
often
say
because they're just so
yes.
cute.
Yes.
and so grateful for my husband and
Yes.
all
Agreed.
the
Yes.
support
Yes.
that he has, provided. Like, all right, Diana.
Shout out to the men. Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's
Yes.
real.
because they can relieve you. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah, they
like,
hold
oh,
it
you know,
down.
I can take the baby. Let me change the baby. I can
Exactly.
feed the baby. You pumped. I can feed the baby. I can prepare
let
the
me package
bottle.
the bottle. Let me package whatever it is.
Yeah.
So nice.
So thank you, husband,
Yes, yes.
for
You
all
ain't one.
of your support.
Likewise.
It is.
Thank you, baby cakes.
Greatly appreciate all the on duty husbands and fathers.
Yes.
Because it'll always get a shout out though, but it's not meant to be done alone. You know what I mean?
It's not.
It isn't.
So-
It isn't. God did
Yes.
create, and Brian reminded me of that when we first had Bryce. We were deciding if both of us were going to go to the doctor's appointment,
Mm-hmm.
and I really couldn't at the time because I needed to go to work.
Right.
And Brian said, I can go. I can take
Exactly.
him. And I did feel, I'm like, no, like he's only,
The
4
mom
weeks
guilt,
old.
it
I mean,
comes
he's
in
only-
so fast.
Yeah, he's
It's
only
like, no, I'm
like
supposed to,
4
like,
months or
yes.
5 months or 6 months, however old he was. And I'm like, oh no,
I'm
I
supposed to be
want to
with-
be
I'm mama.
there.
Right.
Like, I don't want to miss these moments. And he was like, that's why there's 2 parents.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I was like, you know what? You are absolutely right. That's exactly why
Let's-
God created
Two.
2 parents.
Now, I
And
want to
when-
shout out the single mamas. If you're a single mama
Yes.
holding
Oh,
down by
yes.
yourself,
Absolutely.
listen, girl, get you some support.
Absolutely.
Get you some good
Absolutely.
friends, your
yeah,
parent,
a
your
mommy
family,
circle
anybody.
where you all can rotate, you know, the
Absolutely.
weekends
Listen.
with watching kids.
Get
so
you a village, a
Because
this
it's
care group.
real.
weekend can be your weekend where you take 2 hours. Next weekend can be their weekend where they
Listen.
take 2 hours.
And do it
Definitely get yourself a
unashamedly.
village.
Unashamedly.
But yeah, but it you know, God did create it for it to be two parents.
He did.
And when He
He
reminded me of that, I was like, you are absolutely
It's
right.
like take the Superwoman
and I
cape
was,
off your
you
back.
know, I went
Oh,
back,
God.
I went to work with a smile.
That's
And I was
right.
like,
It's relief.
I-
Once
it
you
was
cross that
relief.
threshold, it's
Yeah.
like, oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
I passed that baby up with Jared so fast.
I know. One time I left Vince. I just left him. I was like, bye, tag, you're it. Here,
Listen.
the baby. I was gone.
him
I
out.
was
season.
just
I
like,
don't even
you are
know.
so right. There are two
Since
parents
then.
for a reason. And since then, like some
Right,
appointments
right.
both of us go to,
Yeah.
but a lot of times it's okay, you go to this one, I'll go to the next one. And you
Yeah.
know what? Take that time for yourself.
For yourself.
Take that time for yourself. So if it's their turn to take the baby to the
Right.
You ain't even gotta,
pediatrician,
don't even plan it.
take
Just
time
go.
for
Just
yourself.
ride in the car.
I'm going to Publix.
Just listen.
Oh, you don't even gotta ride in the car. Just
Just sit in the
sleep in and let them take them to the doctor. Or like when I was on maternity leave, he started taking Ariane to the doctor,
Nice.
and
Listen.
that gave me time to get uninterrupted sleep.
Sleep.
It's
Woo.
tag your man season.
So
Tag
I
your
knew,
man.
Tag
Tag,
your man.
tag,
I knew when she had an appointment, I'm like, woo, 2.5
That's
hours
my
of uninterrupted sleep.
That's travel to and fro.
Yep, and while you're there, right? Factor that all into that 2
I'm gonna give me
hours.
a
I'm telling you.
Starbucks. I'm gonna get my
Wouldn't that
tea.
be nice?
Oh,
Oh,
but
my goodness.
By the way, can you stop on the way home and give me a
some
Starbucks?
food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I'm making milk. That's what I'm
That's
doing.
my
I'm
And
secret
making
I gotta
milk.
eat. You
That's
know?
my superpower.
I gotta eat.
Oh, right, because that's a part of the plan.
Listen.
Because if you don't eat, how you gonna make milk?
You can't make
Listen,
milk.
and that is
Can't make milk.
guaranteed. Skip a meal
And,
if you
and
want
then
to.
if you don't make milk, baby can't eat. Let me
So
tell you, it's the
listen.
whole
Baby
cycle.
can't eat.
It's the cycle of life.
No, this was so good. I just
It
want to thank you,
was.
ladies, for coming.
Aw,
Thank you for having us.
I pray y'all got some good stuff. I mean,
was
we
good.
were just talking very candid. It is candid
Listen.
conversation. We were
It
talking
is.
very candidly. I pray you got some good stuff out of
Yeah.
this. Until next time, y'all, we'll see you for another outlet conversation. Bye, y'all.
Bye.